Hi everyone, this is Elisa from Anaya's Toy Box Crochet, and I'm here to tell you what I've been up to. Thank you so much for coming. I do love showing off my makes, and I love that you come week after week to see it. You can find me as Anaya's Toy Box on Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, and Etsy. So, what have I been up to? I have 2 FOs and 3 whips to show you. 2 of them are new whips. But let me show you first my first FO, which is my rectangular blanket. I'm trying to find where the... Okay, so this is a baby blanket, and it's done, and it's a rectangle like I wanted it to be. Finally, right? There it is. That's how it looks like. I was right here last time I showed it to you, and I got to the end. It took a long time at the end, towards the end, to finish the entire row. I cannot imagine how long it would take to finish a row if I was actually to make a big normal size blanket, because this is a baby blanket and it took forever to get from the one end to the other for each row. But it's done. I finished it. I love the way it looks. I'm glad it's a rectangle because that's what I wanted. And here it is. Like it a lot. And I'm going to take off the stitch marker because I showed it to you. So that is my first FO. This is, by the way, I didn't tell you anything. I'm just showing it off. This is the Peekaboo Shells. I almost forgot the name of the stitch. The Peekaboo Shells blanket. I used a tutorial by Bag O'Day to learn how to do this. She has a beautiful, beautiful blanket pattern out on her channel, but it's a square. There's no problem with squares, don't get me wrong. It's just I prefer rectangle blankets. I guess I'm a traditionalist. People are long, and I feel like it needs to be a rectangle. And so I tried once to make a rectangle blanket. Sorry, that's the washing machine. Life noises, I can't stop it. Anyways, I tried once to make a rectangle blanket, and while the inside right here was rectangle, it turned out to be a square. And so I'm tried again. And this is the last Peekaboo Shells blanket I'm going to make in a while, because seriously, I'm done with that stitch for now. I am. I did a lot of it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do like the colors. The colors were chosen, these colors, for the first one, the first rectangle that turned out square, I chose the colors more so that, you know, whatever looks good that was one off, which is most of my yarn, in my stash, or the working yarn that I had. So I was trying to finish some working yarn and some one-offs, and I chose that colorway, and I finished everything I had, and the blanket wasn't big enough, so I did end up going to Hirschner's and ordering similar colorways. So this one, which has mostly the Hirschner's yarn, has some of the leftovers from the other blanket, but mostly this is Hirschner's 8 yarn. These colorways was chosen to go with that blanket. So I have very similar blankets with both of these. So this one is done. I am so happy, and I'm going to put it to the side somewhere. Where can I put it? There. And I'm going to show you the next project. And this is my Just Feel festive shawl. Now, I had this yarn. I mean, I'm sorry, I did say it last week, but I'll say it again. This yarn is a KNC yarn. I forget what it is called exactly, and I don't have any of the ball bands. I think I threw them all in the recycling already. Well, this yarn, I tried to make an amigurumi with it, and it didn't work when I first bought it. And so it's been sitting on my shelf forever, for years. And so I'm like, no, I gotta use it. So I picked up this yarn, which I had a little bit left. This is my working yarn. I used to make amigurumi. This is maybe a size 1 yarn, maybe a size 2. It's not labeled. I think it's a size 1 yarn, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I had some neutral colors of it left. Like, this is all the same yarn, just different colors, not the purple, but all the, not this gray either, but this, and this gray. And I decided I'll put them all together and make a shawl out of it. And I decided to do stripes in random widths, so I could use as much of the yarn as I possibly can. And I also picked up, because I felt like it needed a bit more color, the Twister Solid. This is the one I made my top out of. I still had, now I have 1.5. I have 1.5 left, but I had 2 after I finished making the top. So I picked this one up, and I decided I'm going to put that in. And this is, Hobbii says, is a 2-weight yarn, and it's just a little thicker than this yarn. So I don't know if this is a thinner 2 or a 1. This yarn, Hobbii says, is a 1-weight yarn. It is just as thick as this 2-weight yarn. This is leftovers from the shawl I showed you last time, the one with the red yarn. This is the Hobbii Tencel yarn. I decided to finish it up here because I had a little bit left. And then I just kept on going. I think I added another color right here of gray because I didn't have enough. This is definitely thicker. This is a 2-weight yarn, and this is Hobbii Rainbow Organic, which Hobbii Rainbow Organic does not exist anymore. So it's old from a long time ago. This is where I was last time I showed it to you, and I finished all of this since then. And I finished the shawl. This is definitely, even if I count from, where should I count from? Anyways, this is where, even if I do this, it's more than a wingspan. My goal was to use up all of this yarn and all of those little yarns, and honestly, every single skein except for the Hobbii Twister that I put into this shawl is done. I have finished it all, and I am really happy about that. But after these 2 projects, I was like, can we do something where I'm not weaving in ends? That's what I said. But guess what I started? Another Crochet Memories blanket, which has numerous ends to weave in. I started with this square. This is the yarn that I used on the first second. This is the 3rd Peekaboo Shells. So the 2nd Peekaboo Shells, this is the leftover yarn. I started with this square. This is also from the Peekaboo Shells. And then I just took stuff that I had in my working yarn. And, oh, that's also from Peekaboo Shells. And then I just used stuff from, this is also Peekaboo Shells, and so is this. Anyways, I'm gonna stop pointing those out. But the point is, I started using working yarn. I'm making another baby blanket because honestly, at least I know, if nothing else, I could donate these to Boggy Creek once I'm done. But if I make a full-size blanket, I don't know what to do with it. So I'm taking a lot of my working yarns, the smallest ones that I have, and I'm making this blanket, which has 1,000,000 ends. There's at least 2 per square, sometimes more, because, you know, there's knots inside. But anyways, that is another one I'm working on. And this one, I won't call it a long-term project, but I don't know how long it'll take because I need to get more. But at the same time, I don't know how long that will take. All right, so that one is done. I showed you that, and now I have one more project which I forgot to bring, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So once again, this project is on my frustrated with list. I thought this would be such an easy project that it'll get done. I had it all down in my head, and I got done the rest of this. So I had already showed you all of this. I was telling you it was tight. It was cutting into, you know, how much I wanted to work on this, because I was like, it's going to be so tight. And then I decided to live with it. I actually sewed this part on, and then I found out I sewed it on wrong. Like, it was, instead of being like, if I put it flat like this, which I did, except I didn't follow the line from the bottom, I sewed it on. And then it was kind of like a little bit weird. It wasn't right. Then I put it aside, and I'm like, let me think if I could live with it. I couldn't live with it. And so I took it apart, but I didn't sew it back on yet. See, it's loose in here. So I have to sew it. And then I have to do a little bit. I finished the lid. This is the lid, which I will sew onto there like this. And then I have to do handles. Now the handles might take a little while because I am running low on my scrap yarns. Scrap yarns, by the way, are tiny. I don't have any with me, but tiny little balls of yarn like this. Whereas yarn that I'm putting in here is, I consider working yarn, which means I can start an amigurumi project with it. So if I were to make a little amigurumi project, I'd have enough yarn with it. That's what I call working yarn. Sorry, now I'm fussing with it. I'm fussing with it in front of you guys. But anyways, this is where this stands. I did get some work on it. I did this much rows. I got the rows amount done. I got the lid done. What I need to do now is hand sew this part to this. Put the lid on. I'm going to do a little bit of rows here to cover up this part. And then I plan to do a handle. Now, handle will take a while because I'm low on scraps. But, you know, as I get scraps, I'll probably add it to that. All right. So, did I show you everything? No, there's one more thing I'm going to show you. I wanted to start another shawl. And I had so many ideas in my head. I wanted to, there was a Bagaudet pattern that I wanted to make, and I had the yarn picked up for it and everything. And then in the last second, just as I was about to start this thing, I picked out this yarn, which is Knit Picks Brava Stripes, and the colorway is Candy Jar. This is a worsted weight yarn. I picked that one, and I started knitting a shawl. This is just a regular, very, very easy garter stitch shawl. The reason I decided to stick to very, very easy is because with knitting, starting a project is so hard for me. I end up frogging so many times at the beginning because it's not done quite right. And so I didn't want to pressure myself by making a complicated pattern, which one day, oh, Stephen West, I will one day make your shawls, I promise, almost. I hope so. But I decided to stick to a very simple garter stitch shawl. This is it. I can't, as you can see, I didn't finish the row, so I can't show it to you straight, but this is what it looks like so far. I have 2 balls of this. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but if it isn't, I'll just add white to the end. And yeah, that's what I started. I hopefully will get it done soon, but I don't know, like, I have been putting a lot of time on this knit. I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me, it takes a long time. I've been knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting on this thing, and I've only gotten this much of the yarn done. If I was crocheting for as long as I've been knitting, I'd have a lot more done. Just saying, this yarn is just, knitting does take less yarn, but it takes a, for me, I'm not saying for everybody, but for me it takes a long time. But I am loving the way the colors are turning out. I am aware that as this shawl grows, the colors will not be this beautiful fade anymore. I doubt I'm going to reach the end. At least if it was crochet, I wouldn't reach the end with one color. But I am enjoying it right now, and I'm enjoying knitting. I find knitting a lot more, like at least the garter stitch, a lot more relaxing than crochet. I love crochet. And I think part of the reasons why it's so much more relaxing is because with crochet, I I don't know why. It's just it's just soothing. The using your two hands is just so much more soothing than crochet. The problem, of course, is sometimes it's too relaxing, and I'm like, so I need to stop and get into crochet because it's too relaxing. Oh, I forgot about this one. This is my daughter's top. I have been thinking, I haven't worked much on this because I've been thinking about whether I wanted to continue as I had planned, and I have decided yes I will, but I had some other ideas and I've decided this is not where I'm going to experiment with it. But this is what I have so far. It's not much work added to this. This is where I was last time I showed it to you, so I probably just put like 2 or 3 rows onto it. But anyway, she wants a top, and the reason why I'm not going to experiment like I was thinking of is because she wants a top with huge sleeves on it. I don't know if I have enough yarn, but I'll order more if I don't. So I feel like if I am to guess where to put the sleeves, I might not make it big sleeves. I might end up being wrong. Whereas if I make 2 panels and I sew it up and I have her try it on and she'd be like, no, those are not big enough, I could just, you know, take off some of the sewing part and then have her try it on again until it's right. Whereas if I were to do what I wanted to do was make armholes like you would do in a sewing project, like, okay, this is not a good example, but you know how when you get a top there's like armholes like going like that. I wanted to try to do that, but I don't think this is the right project to try to do that, so I'll try in another future project. But so far this is what I have. This is the linen stitch, lemon peel stitch. I've heard both names with this. This is where you, or moss, is it moss stitch? Linen, moss, lemon peel, I don't know. I've heard lots of names for it. I believe it's all 3 of those names. This is where you do a double crochet and then a single crochet and a double crochet and a single crochet till the end of the row, and then when you start the next row you do a double crochet on top of the single crochets and a single crochet on top of the double crochets. This is what I got so far. I love the texture of this stitch. It's beautiful. It's really, really pretty, the texture. But anyways, it's going slowly because I was like trying to think of what I wanted to do, but I got an idea now. So we'll see how it turns out. Well, now that I've decided not to try to make the armholes, I pretty much know it'll be okay. But I will try with another project, I think. I think I will try to make armholes in a different way with another project. But yes, that is what I have. That is what I've been up to this week. I got a new camera. Okay, I keep saying I got a new camera, but in reality, I got a new phone. I got a new phone and the camera works. So I don't think it's going to be this week because I will be traveling this week. But sometime, hopefully very, very soon, I will get all my photography equipment out and I will take pictures of these 2 FOs as well as whatever else I still have. And I'll be able to update my Instagram and Facebook and hopefully Etsy too. But for now, I got a new phone and I'm very happy about it, and I'm very happy and excited that I'll be able to take pictures again. Now, just so you understand, I was taking pictures with my old phone. I just didn't post any of it because they all turned out blurry. I dropped my phone a while ago and it stopped focusing properly, and so I was able to finagle it for a while, and if I tried really hard and held it at just the right angle and cleaned the lenses every single picture, I was able to get it, you know, focused. But as time went by, that was getting harder and harder to do. Like, it wasn't focusing. So I have pictures of some of the stuff I don't have anymore. Things that I made while I was in Montreal, things that I made, I think September stuff, I don't have anymore. All of those things, I did take pictures of them. I just didn't post them because they're blurry. And also, ever since I started working on using Ravelry as my project tool, like where I keep track of all the projects that I make. I have made I've made a project page for every single project that I've made, and lately I haven't. I didn't make one for this. I didn't make one for this peekaboo shells. I didn't make one for the other peekaboo shells. I haven't made for a very, very long time because I just got so frustrated that there's no pictures on my Ravelry page that I just stopped making the project pages, even though I kept on making projects. So hopefully I'll get back on track with that. Hopefully very soon. But anyways, that is what I have been up to. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe. Bye.